Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, I'm Michael.
This is Cleve.
This is Stephanie.
And welcome back to another exciting episode of Friendship
Supreme.
Eat me.
Well, the podcast that dares to ask, does a city really need a superhero? Like, need a superhero? And city, I mean like a real city?
Not like
the city of Madrid?
not like Madrid. Is
Probably
the
not.
crime there high?
Crime is high in Madrid. Actually, that was Barcelona, though. Never mind. Ugh, I don't know.
They were in Madrid for part of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was in
no.
Barcelona. I'm sorry. They were in Madrid. I have been to Barcelona, so I was trying to correlate with that. I remember being in Barcelona, and then being like, don't ever take your eye off of what's going on.
You find any opportunity to brag, don't you?
Oh, man, you know it.
I feel like that's in most major tourist cities. Like Paris is the same way.
I'm a world traveler, baby. I think Stephanie's been to Spain too, haven't you?
No, I was going to, and then COVID.
Oh, right.
Thanks for the reminder.
Right.
I know. I feel like that feels like 10 years ago.
Get that.
But it
knife
was
in
this one.
Oh, you went to Greece. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a comic book from Greece, and I'm pretty sure it was you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But anyways, what are we talking about today, Cleve?
Today we're talking about unknown origins, or as they say in Espanol, Michael.
Secrets, origins.
Origines. Was it
Origines
Secretos? This movie was suggested to us by our huge fan Satya, so we appreciate that.
Thank you, Satya.
It is
Sorry, Cleve.
It is a movie about a serial killer killing people to try to make a superhero. Am I describing this right? Or
Yes.
killing them in comic book fashion.
You don't know
Yeah.
why he's doing it in the beginning,
Yeah, you don't find that out to the very end.
but yes, he kills them in comic book fashion.
Are we going to try to not talk spoilers, or are we just going to dive in? Do we need to set the precedence now?
I think we're just going to say that there's
Yeah,
spoilers.
just spoilers.
Okay.
This whole episode's gonna have spoilers, chat. Nope. This son of a bitch. This whole video is going to have spoilers, guys. So just be ready for that.
Nobody say, because I've noticed we like to go immediately to the sentence, I thought it was good, or I didn't like it. So let's hold back on that, and we'll just kind of talk about it. So he kills people in like 5 different ways. We have Hulk,
Mhm.
Iron Man, Human Torch, Spider-Man. We are led to believe that he has killed someone in the Batman Origins style.
He attempted
And
to
I
kill
believe
some
that's
people in X-Men fashion as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
X-Men,
it's
sorry.
uncanny.
Michael, as the bigger comic book fan, how many of these comic issues did you know?
Detective 33 and the 13, the Hulk. I don't remember now. Oh, Hulk was number 1,
Hulk was
which I
one,
thought was funny. We'll say that it was just Detective 33. There was the other one. I sounded familiar, but it may have just been.
I recognized Amazing, the fantasy comic,
Mhm.
and not the Human Torch, but that was because the Human Torch was.
The original iteration of the Human Torch.
Yeah, there's 2 versions of the Human Torch. One's the Fantastic Four. One of them is, as he explains in the movie, a robot that sets on fire when he touches oxygen, which I didn't know that. I also didn't know there's a speech later on about Batman and Joker, and how Jack Nicholson heard that Heath Ledger passed away.
Oh, yeah. I
And
looked that up to see if it was real.
It is a real
Yeah.
thing. And Jack Nicholson said, I warned him, and he would not elaborate on what he meant, which is crazy. And it's also crazy that skipped my knowledge completely.
I would imagine that Jack Nicholson has a pretty in-depth knowledge, mainly of so character acting, presumably is what he's talking about. And obviously, Jack Nicholson played the Joker, but in his version of the Joker was much more jovial. I think that it probably plays back more to his role in The Shining and stuff, because he played like when he slowly had to go crazy. Like people talk about him on set and not liking him on set, and he was
Yeah.
real devoted to his roles.
I remember him
much
being
as
grape
Heath-
shit at that time.
Yeah, and much like Heath Ledger, Heath Ledger was super like committed to his role. So I imagine that like Jack Nicholson was like, I can see where this is going, and you need to be careful.
Michael B. Jordan for Killmonger also. He would purposely not hang out with the cast, and he kind of had not an attitude with everybody, but just really you could feel a tension that he created between him and Chadwick and the rest of the cast because he was supposed to be this outsider that was trying to get in. But let's talk. Here, let me look at it real quick. Let's talk characters because I hate the generic comic book nerd stereotype.
You mean the one that looks like me and acts like a piece of shit?
I wasn't gonna
Chubby
say a
guy- hold on,
piece
chubby
of shit.
guy, beard. I don't wear glasses, but sometimes I wear nerdy glasses. You know, like for my computer. And not a piece of shit, but like in that, like his dad has to wake him up, and he just kind of picks up
A
a piece
loser,
of toast out of
a
the
bum.
garbage, and
Yeah.
you know, like yeah. I love
He
it.
couldn't be
It's
a
the-
successful comic book shop owner. He has to be.
I was gonna ask, did he own that place?
Had
I
to have.
think so.
Because she
Because-
said that once his dad retired, he could help around the shop. So he has to own it.
And
So
he's the
let
one
me get
that's
this
ever working
straight.
there.
I own a comic book shop, but I eat toaster trash.
Well,
Yep.
Maybe the shop's not doing well. Apparently, one of the guys was soliciting downloading free comic books.
I mean, it's doing well enough for. Well, I guess maybe that explains why he lives with that. I was gonna say they just throw food away like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, true. He did buy
Yeah.
a lot of pizza for people.
But God, I hate it so much. And I couldn't tell who this movie was for. Is this movie for people who are going to get all these nerdy comic references? Or are these for people who, like, see nerdy people in this way?
So I forced Katie to watch this movie with me. And throughout the time, she was like, this isn't like, when she first started watching, because I was like, hey, I'm going to watch this. Do you want to watch? She's like, you don't have to wait for me. You can start it. And if I come in, I come in. I'm like,
Mhm.
cool. And like she sat down and I noticed she was actually paying attention. And I was like, what are you thinking so far? And she's like, this is not terrible. And I was like, yeah. And then we like halfway through started looking at each other and making comments like this movie very much is like at times is like, this is a good thriller and could be a real solid detective movie. And then there are times where they say things and you're like, I fucking hate everything that you're doing right now. Stop it, please.
Yeah.
I already have the tagline or the name of the episode. And I don't know if you want to use this for the quote at the end or not. But my favorite line that sums up how I felt about all of the writing and the acting was when the villain, Dr. Navarro, says, you need to be more than a man. And she kicks in the door and says, good thing I am more than a man because I'm a
Yeah, that
woman.
was-
Woman.
That was rough.
Well, fuck
That
me.
That was Holly Berry Storm level, like, terrible line, terrible delivery.
Well,
'cause
she
you could
said it,
just-
and I just...
Because you could just say, "Well, I'm a woman." You don't have to say what he said. And if I can do some rewrites real quick, you don't have to say, "I am more than a man. I'm a woman."
Right.
He
She
could
could have just said, good thing I'm a woman. And be
because
done.
I can't remember what movie it was, but it was like, "No man can kill me," and she was like, "I am no man," and then
Are you talking about the Avengers? Endgame. I'm pretty positive that's when Brie Larson shows up and fucking annihilates Thanos
No,
in the
I
beginning.
feel like they had swords and armor,
Oh, okay.
but
Maybe you're right.
we can't remember what it was. But okay, let's do some character breakdown here. We have David Valentine, Inspector Valentine,
Val.
new to the city. Yeah, Val, new to the city. His parents were murdered in front of him. That was cool.
Right. And then as soon as he was talking about it, I was like, okay, Batman's origin story. Cool.
Immediately, I couldn't tell. That's why I was like, I don't know if this movie's supposed to be for someone who understands
Lord of the
anything about the
Rings.
comic world. Thank you.
Return of the King.
Thank you.
Sorry. Sorry. It was going to bug me.
I was actually looking it up as we were talking. So he hates heroes. Also, we get opening scene with the cop who puts his mask on and runs in, and we don't address that for quite some time.
Right.
Yeah.
I had no idea what that was about. I was like, did he survive? Who is this guy? He had a mask on?
I'm curious if it was a loss of translation. So, like, I think we have to really point out the fact that this is all done in Spanish and dubbed.
Mhm.
Oh,
Because
yeah. I watched it dubbed. You can watch it with subtitles, but then I'm just
could
reading
you?
the whole time.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a subtitle option, but I had it both, and I can't. It bothers me whenever they're saying something and the subtitles don't match it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
one off.
I left it dubbed, so it was in English.
Yeah, I had it
mouths
dubbed. I
don't
didn't
match, but it's
realize that
fine.
it was. But what I was going to say is that two things that bothered me. So, like, it being dubbed, there can be loss in translation. So potentially they said his name or something, and we were supposed to catch on that it was Javier. And that's
Maybe.
what we're supposed to catch on
That's
to.
true. They probably could have said his name, but it was so early on in the movie, I didn't know that I was supposed to know his name.
Right. But the other thing was that I wanted to point out was that, like, regardless of how I felt about this movie, the dub actors and actresses were fucking awful. They were
Not
monotone through
all,
the whole thing.
But
there was
yeah,
no emotion. There was no change in voice. Like, there was no range and pitch. Like, we just straight read this from a book and didn't fucking put anything into it. Anime has better fucking dubs than this did.
the commissioner got angry.
Maybe. When he cried? Oh, no. Who was the one that someone was crying, and it was like, it was the most unemotional moment for me, and I don't know. It was weird.
Was it when they went to go visit the other comic book nerd who has cats? And he was like,
"That's me."
That's me in the future if something happens to my dad. So then we have Norma,
Sorry.
who is, I mean, for lack of not knowing, commissioner?
The commish?
I don't think I actually got
Captain.
a title.
She's a
Captain, okay.
Yeah, like of the precinct or whatever.
Who cosplays? That's fun for her.
We get to meet her as a sailor. I couldn't
Moon?
tell what color it was, so I don't know what sailor it was. But
It
It
was
was Sailor
Moon.
Moon.
Okay.
But, and I mean, I guess that's fair. I guess you can be the captain of a precinct and like to
Right,
cosplay in your free
costume.
time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you do whatever you want to. You know, you're saving the world. Who says you can't dress up?
Apparently, this whole precinct is obsessed with superheroes. So
Right.
I'm glad we needed a superhero comic book store worker.
Well, let's say, well, not enough because
she'd never read
remember
a comic in her
she
life.
only likes anime and cosplay and one other thing that I can't remember.
I know she never has read a comic in her life.
Right.
Movies is what she likes.
Oh, movies, yeah.
She said she
Did
likes
you-
movies, cosplay, and anime.
Did you enjoy her anime voicemail? Because I did.
Yeah.
We called her to try to get her, and it was like some little anime song at the end, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Damn it!"
Sorry, continue your introductions.
We have Jorge Elias, the comic book owner, we're assuming, and residential nerd that gets made fun of at school and isn't popular. I do appreciate the scene they had where he was like, he's a dentist. He has the biggest company in Madrid.
Mhm.
She does this. She does that. Like, these are just normal people who have jobs who just also like these things.
Yeah.
Even though they all were overweight, like nerdy people that were the same thing we're trying to break. One of them was a judge. That's the other one, a judge.
I can't remember the name of the character. You'll remember it once I start talking about it. But the guy that's dressed up as the clown from Spawn. I can't remember the clown's name. John Leguizamo's character. But anyway.
Like Leguizamo, but yeah.
I know I always say it wrong. Anyways.
What were you saying, Stephanie?
I don't remember.
Sorry,
I was
Stephanie.
thinking that I liked that, even though I liked that they had characters that had other jobs other than the comics book
Like
store guy.
representation. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
nice. It's a Violator.
Ah, the Violator. Thank you.
Then we had Cosme,
That was me.
Yeah.
the dad, who was retiring because he's like dying in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Cancer. The incurable kind.
Mm.
That's what she said. She's like, he has cancer. What kind? The uncurable. We didn't bother to fucking
No
research at all. That we're like, we couldn't have fucking like.
No specific
Maybe that's
body
another
part.
maybe that's another translation loss.
I don't think about it. Maybe.
And then we have, I think the only last person that was of any importance was the what are they called?
Victor
The
Vid.
people who look at the no, Victor Vid was the identity he
coroner?
stole.
Coroner?
The
Coroner, yes. Who we have here is Bruguera.
Bergero.
Well, it ends with an A here, but again, that could be a mistranslation.
I think it was
I believe you.
Bruguera.
I'm not contesting it.
Bruguera was his name.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Who studies all the dead bodies for them, and because we're in the spoiler section, which started at the beginning, we find out is the actual villain at the end.
Yo, that dude's a fucking savage. That dude was like, he can never find out who I am. Into the acid. I'm like, what is happening? And he comes out looking like a fruit bat.
So, yeah, let's jump to the end of this.
Sorry, man. Look,
as
I don't even know how to feel about this movie.
it's supposed to be like a feel good thing at the end, but the villain won, right?
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Okay.
The villain's whole goal was just to create a superhero. Like, he even in his head doesn't think he's a villain. He thinks he's like the anti-hero, and that like he's giving the city what they truly need, a superhero.
Right. He's like, I'm going to sacrifice my life so that we have a superhero.
Because
Cops aren't good enough.
right, because at the end he's like, oh, all those people you feel so bad for that I hurt, actually they're all fucking terrible people. So look,
Yeah,
I'm
they're
great.
all.
I know after he said it, like he started mentioning all the people. I'm like, oh, well, like, you know what? You could have just said that and I'd be on your team right now, man. You didn't have to fruit bat
You're
your face.
basically Batman.
You
Well,
are
here's the
hero.
flaw. Why weren't you just the hero? Were you
Right.
too old?
You didn't have to fucking.
You had a Batcave and everything.
The only thing you did wrong was poison those kids at the comic book store for no reason.
Yeah, they didn't do anything, huh? But did they poison them, or were they just throwing up?
He put the plutonium in there, not plutonium.
Oh, it was
whatever
plutonium.
Palladium
called,
or whatever.
Yeah, whatever they.
But what does
called
that
it.
do to you? Just
It's radiation, so enough of it would have killed them. That's what he used
And
it
then
on.
Jorge's
He
like,
used
"Go
it
ahead
on
and
the
drink it,
guy that
rich guy."
he turned into the Hulk.
Yeah.
I like when they're like, "It's."
I think they were throwing up to purge it, but
maybe. I thought that one was for the guy whose identity he took, and that's why he looked so.
oh,
Yeah.
Because at that point they were like, I hate when they do this too. They're like, it's that word,
yeah,
And-
sure.
and they're like, damn it. And it's like, what? He's like, not that. He's like, yeah, it's that. And he's like, fuck.
Nah,
They're like,
shit.
the guy's like, what's going on? So that I'm like, can we skip all this? Can you just tell me what it is?
Yo, but like that was a moment for the corner again. He was like, "I'll do it. I'll take the sacrifice." And I'm like,
Right.
man, this guy's a G. Like, I'm on board with this dude. And then it was like, oh, I'm the villain now. Fucking son of a bitch.
It grossed me out that he was like digging in a dead body, the Hulk character at first. And he had blood all over his arms. So I was like, wear some better gloves.
Also,
I didn't
what
like him
kind of-
from the very beginning. And then I was like, oh, okay, you're cool.
Like, don't get me wrong. I get that it's terrible. And maybe it was his first day. I don't know. But like, you don't get into like homicide detectiveness and be like, oh God, a dead body. I'm gonna go throw up now.
Yeah.
I think
and an
it's.
excessive amount of throw up.
I was gonna say I think it's based on what you saw. To be fair,
I guess, but like, I mean, he did
And
throw
it
up
doesn't
when he
even
saw the
address-
decapitated head.
yeah, it didn't even address what he saw.
No, he just said it was a pile of something.
Maybe with the
Trash.
smell, because I feel like a smell can always
That's
get you.
fair. That's fair. But not to the extent of like fucking Muppet Show level vomit. Like it was like he went and it was just like poof.
Right. It was like The
Gross.
Exorcist, but like he closed his mouth.
Yeah. It was a lot. Anyways.
What do you feel about the dad? I feel like we didn't talk about him too much.
We gave him a redemption arc way too quickly. We tried to cram a lot towards the end. He was a dick to his kid, but like his kid was a dick too, so it's tough. Like I don't know. I go back and forth like, you know, your kid didn't want to do what you want to do, but again, he owns a comic book store. Seems to be doing he like at least wakes up and goes to work every day. There are kids out there that don't.
And I think that there was a point where Jorge finds out he's sick, the worst way possible, by the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which was just an angry rant, and I feel like we didn't address that at all. But
He said he was sorry, remember?
yeah,
That's not enough for you?
I mean,
Look,
you told me my
Vertex said
dad was
sorry,
dying.
bro. Vertex
You told
said
me
he
my
was sorry.
dad was dying, and you're like, "Hey, my bad." I'm supposed to be like, "Oh, cool." So everybody knew you're new in town. Everybody knew but me, and I'm supposed to be okay with this.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there was a part where I feel like he told his son, he was like, "I'm proud of you." You know, I
That's the
didn't finish this."
redemption I was talking about, though. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like we gave him that ability to just be like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm super proud of you.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't feel like there was anything that hit the switch to make him feel that way.
It
So
was just
that's
there.
That's what makes me feel like maybe he wasn't a terrible dad and just wasn't
Potentially.
expressive. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they made the Jorge a dweeb of a character, and like they did make him dislikable. Like
Out
I
the
think
gate.
I only felt what
Out the
out
gate.
the gate. I feel like I only liked him because I knew who they were trying to say he was. Like I know what stereotype you're trying to say. I got it. But like even at times I was like, God, you're annoying as shit. You know, but no, I mean, I don't think he was a terrible character. I just it sucked that he had to die. Like I didn't see that coming, but I guess you know he was gonna die anyway.
Well, he knew who the villain was, and nobody can know who the villain is.
That's
That's how I
fair.
knew he was gonna die. When I knew the villain's plan, and I realized how well he had planned this out, because he did pretty good.
Who did you think the villain was in the beginning? Like, because you had to be making. You're like me. You had to be making guesses.
Yeah. For a moment, early, I thought the dad.
Towards the end, I was like, oh my God, I think it might be the fucking dad.
For the smaller second of that, I thought Jorge.
I
And
thought
then-
it could have been the rich guy that was like, I downloaded the
I thought
comic
that was the guy
book.
that
Oh,
was
it's the
the
rich guy
comics.
for a while too.
This motherfucker until he shows up at the comic book thing and he's like, can't handle it. Man,
Well,
that was okay.
Here's what exonerated him for me. If I can pull out some detective
Yeah.
skills. They went to the other comic guy and was like, "Who owns these comics?"
Mm.
So I knew then it had to be someone who likes physical copies, not digital copies,
Fair.
and that excluded the downloading jerk who Jorge might have sent to his death.
And it
Premeditated.
wouldn't really make sense for the dad to be it.
Because Katie
because he-
laughed when that happened. I said, that's a crime. Sorry, what did you say, Steph?
It wouldn't make sense for the dad to be the murderer because he knows nothing about comic books. But
He said he had
could've just
read
been
old
pretending.
comics one time. It was like one series that he said he read, and it was one of the fake ones that they made.
In my head, he had the motive because at that time, you would think that Norma is forcing him out of the force,
That's true.
not that he's ready to retire.
And then he
Yeah.
was trying to create a reason to stay. That
Never would have thought the fifth character that we met. Never would have thought that guy.
never was at the corner. Number 2 worst fucking moment of acting in that in that movie, when the rich nerd pulls up, and Nora walks up and goes, "Get out of your car, we need it." And he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Vertex needs your cars." I laughed hard because it was just that's at that point when I was like, this movie has gone from being like, oh, this is a good thriller, to what do they think? Who are they wanting to watch this film right now?
Yeah. Let me tell you, I can cut out a whole storyline, and it's the Valentine Norma romance.
So that was a
Got
real
It developed quickly for no reason,
for no reason.
and just well, I mean, I guess
you couldn't have
I
thrown
guess-
Jorge a bone.
you did put two attractive people on the screen together, so they do got a kiss. And then the kiss, I expect. Okay, so here's in my head how it went down. In the ambulance, he was getting real close to her face. I thought she was like, "The fuck you doing?" And she didn't. And then I thought when he did kiss her that she was gonna slap him and be like, "This is not what this is. What are you trying to do?" But
Because
instead,
that's sexual assault.
apparently, it's super easy to get with women now. I've just been out of the game for so long because I've been with Jennifer. You could just walk up and start kissing chicks, and they love it.
Yeah.
They
the second
by
that
the
scene
way, only
happened,
known for less than a week.
Right.
Because remember when he showed up, or she showed up with Consomme and Val, he was like, "Who is that?" And she's like, Consomme's like, "That's your boss." So he's been there for less than a week, and it's just like, "Yep." And she says, "I love you." Well, she says, "I love," and
She
then
did.
then like
That was
didn't,
super uncalled for.
and then said, "I like you," and then he said, "I know," and she's like, "He quoted Han Solo."
God, this is one of those things where it's like, to me,
I'm
it's
sorry.
it's the same
the
quality as the Big Bang Theory, where it's
Yeah.
like, just because you say the names of things
Right.
doesn't bring what we're looking for here.
I'm sorry to the person that suggested this movie if you really liked it. I'm not trying to just trash it. I actually kind of enjoyed it walking away from it. Like there were parts that I enjoyed.
it just got
I
really
enjoyed the
cheesy.
concept.
When he did the kiss, Derek was watching it while he was cooking things, but we both were just like,
You can't just say
Ugh.
things because then it just I assume meth. So like you have
Oh.
to tell us what he was cooking.
I think he was either cooking pasta or bread. Maybe both.
Well, you
at the same
bake one and then you cook the other. So
time. Okay, fine. He's cooking pasta.
I know who doesn't cook. It's a girl trying to bake pasta.
I guess you
Yeah.
could technically bake pasta, like a baked ziti.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
you can
I don't
bake
know
pasta.
how this is going that way. Sorry, my bad, guys.
It just that felt like the most forced out of the storyline.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, absolutely.
Things I did like. Let's not
Again,
go
I want to
negative
point
the
out we
entire
couldn't have
time.
thrown Jorge a bone on that one. Like they were already super into the same things. Like they spent a lot of quality
They
time
were
together.
and weren't.
Well, they spent quality time together all the time.
They
They
did.
trusted each other. They had a relationship. Like they knew each other. It wasn't like this fake bullshit. He suddenly fucking Val knows something about comic books, so now she's horny for him.
That's why I was like, they could have all just been friends.
Yeah,
Maybe
I would
if
go with that
they'd done,
too.
if they'd done a sequel, maybe we could explore.
They hunchback of Notre Dame
Romance?
him, man. That's how I felt. Like they Quasimodo'd him. Like the whole time, Esmeralda very clearly built a very strong relationship with Quasimodo, and it was like, "Oh, hey, what's up, sexy, handsome blonde guy? Want a bone?" Like what? Like this is your enemy, and now all of a sudden you're like, "Yeah, I like it." That's what they did to Jorge.
Being attractive does stuff for you, I hear.
Yeah, no, I know.
So things I liked.
Yeah.
One, let's talk about the design of that final character. I thought that was really good. I liked
very
it.
Doctor Doomish. I liked him. Like Doctor
Are we-
Doom and Scarecrow.
Are you talking hero or villain?
Oh, you're talking about Vertex.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I liked Dr. Navarro. I felt it was very much Doctor Doom and Scarecrow kind of like slammed together.
I didn't
Yeah,
like
I
his
thought it was a
sleeve
Scarecrow-y.
thingy.
Fair. But maybe
His
it's a plague
extra
doctor
fabric.
kind of thing. Like
Because
maybe
he
it
did
was just
that at one point.
He did.
Yeah, but I can see that.
You're talking about Vertex. My apologies.
Yes. I enjoyed the cop suit because it was finally like something he could get behind, and then the superhero look at the same time.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna lose the cape, but apparently he decided to keep that. And then he steps out of the comic book store, and there's just the best gust of wind you've ever seen in your life.
hmm
But
Yeah. At that point, I was like, oh, so I guess he's into nerdy stuff now.
Right.
I thought it looked cool. I like the face
It was a
mask
cool
and
design,
goggles.
though.
Yeah,
Although the glass was gone, so I don't know the point of
yeah.
those.
He poked him out. He got rid of the extra glass. I super respect Jorge getting the body armor back. I don't know how he pulled that off, but that was not
Yeah. I mean, he did mention that it was really hard to do. So,
I
Right.
get that he was told to come alone, but the fact that they left Jorge back made me kind of sad. You couldn't have
Yep.
let him get like the one, like every movie, like the weak nerdy character gets at least one win. What win did he get?
I mean, he helped.
His dad died.
Kinda.
He didn't get the help at all. They kept leaving him behind.
He got friends, real
Did he, though?
friends.
Because he already
Yeah.
had Nora or
Eh.
Norma. Who did he get as a friend?
He mentioned something about. He mentioned something about if Norma finds a guy, then they're not going to hang out anymore.
Yeah.
But he got David.
Well, yeah. So now Norma's going to date Val, and then they're all going to not hang out because he's going to be in third wheel. That's going to be weird.
Yeah, they're not going to hang out.
But he's been third wheeling it, so he's good with
Anyway.
that, I think.
Yeah, the costume design for the final character was good.
Yeah.
I started out thinking, oh, this might be okay. Like a pretty good, like, thriller detective kind of movie. And then Derek was even just like, what is this, Marvel's 7? Because it was just serial killers, but based on a theme. And I was like, yeah, and at the end they're going to be like, what's in the box? And then later in the movie, he said it would be easier to figure out who's next if you're going to base it off like Deadly Sins. And I was
Right.
like, oh, that's kind of funny. So they're even pointing out that this is kind of like 7.
And he's like,
And then it went
Dad.
cheese ball.
brother was Gryffindor. I'm a Slytherin. I get it. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even like that. I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I felt like the nerdy references were very surface level.
Heavy-handed for sure.
Yeah.
I think that we can start talking about how we felt about it. I think this movie was okay. I don't think it was bad,
No.
but I don't think it was amazing.
It was okay.
For a world where we're getting zero new content, I feel like it was good.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was.
The concept to the film was great.
I think that it could have been, obviously, with the idea, way better.
I feel like they just were trying to be funny and serious at the same time, and not enough
That-
of one or the other.
That's not easy to do either. But not a lot of movies can pull off being serious and tell jokes the whole time through. But I feel like there were parts of this movie where I'm like, this is really good. This is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And there were parts where I'm like, you're losing me a little bit. When he confronted the villain early, I was like, and he gassed him. I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on in this guy's mouth? Because the worms and shit. And then he's explaining, like, hey, sorry I had to drug you. But I was like, is it for real? Because that could be a spirit that you're fucking with. And this is a whole other
And then
movie.
I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore.
Well,
It's
yeah, when
not
he
like
did that, I was like, oh, that's like Scarecrow. Okay, that makes sense because this is Batman. But I didn't like that Jorge, the king of comics, when Val said how his parents died, didn't go, oh, you've got Batman's origin story. That's cool. Like, didn't
Yeah,
point it out at all.
he was just like, I don't believe you. Like, what the fuck you mean? Who tells that story and is joking?
Right. I'd be like, did you pull that from Batman's? Did you read that from the comic? I like something if you don't believe him.
I think storyline, the villain was probably the most brilliant.
Yeah.
And then to set up these murders the way he's doing, it would have been cool if there was like an actual rhyme and reason to which origins he was picking. That would have been nice. Maybe like, this is the first appearance of Superman, this is the first appearance of Iron Man, and so on. But to go back to David's case and put the detective comic thing in there as part of the evidence, fucking genius.
Mhm.
Because then, as far as he knows,
Your whole life is that.
this is a full circle for him. This is a case that he was meant to solve from when he was a child to now.
Let me tell you, when I found out that he planted it, it made me feel a lot better about that detail. Because originally, that detail was real annoying to me.
Like it was too much of a coincidence.
Yeah.
He was older, so I kind of was like, okay, maybe he was 17 when he murdered his parents, and
Maybe that started him maybe he was a junkie and it started his life of crime.
yeah.
For some
But
reason,
it didn't make sense the gap in time between
Yeah.
one death and the other.
It made more sense that he planted it.
Well, and
I thought it was like
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I thought it was like the movie Unbreakable with Mr. Glass, how he was kind of just causing accidents and trying to build I thought maybe it was going that route with it. Your turn.
It was a good movie.
I did like that they made the Hulk gray. and
Nice
not
little
green.
detail. Yeah.
And they went with the other Human Torch, which I didn't know existed.
I hated when the dad called Jorge and said, "What issue did the Hulk debut in?" And he's like, "The Incredible Hulk 1." And like he's looking at the clipping and it says The Incredible Hulk #1. Like, don't get it wrong. Like, I get where you're coming from, sir, but like
I mean,
on
put
the
two and
vast
two together. You're a detective.
Vast coincidence. Maybe if Jorge had not had a full conversation about the Hulk,
right.
Mhm.
then maybe that would have made more sense for him to call. Or you do it with the Iron Man one. Like, don't do it with Hulk 1. That's, I mean, you could throw a dart at that one. You could take a wild guess.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you would have just assumed, because I guess, like, technically, Batman issue #1 doesn't talk about his origin necessarily.
Mhm.
Or even, like, if you get really into it, like the Amazing Spider-Man #1, that doesn't. But regardless,
But you just heard this entire story,
right?
and then you see the comic book issue, and then they saw the Iron Man one. Like, you're putting two and two together. You figured out that there was a comic book when you saw Suspense, and you went back to the so you're putting two and two together.
The Iron Man one was the other one I knew. What was it? Why am I forgetting the name of it right now?
It's like
but
15? Suspense.
Right? Yeah, it's Tales of Suspense. I think 15. I'll get
so okay, so
it, but
we're not going to count Uncanny because they didn't actually die. So Hulk, Iron Man, Human Torch, Batman. I guess we don't count that one either. Spider-Man. Which one did you think was the most
Human Torch?
I guess gruesome or cool or interesting? Whatever.
All three of those, I would say.
Which one did you like the most?
Yeah,
that one was rough.
That one was gruesome. Really fascinating about if that science is real about the way he did that. The fact that it took him like 3 weeks for it to happen, or 3 days, boil alive like in 3 days because of refrigerating and boiling his body. Go ahead, sorry.
I don't know. I was going to say basically he was like it's like someone put a pot of water on low and just left it. Eventually, it's just gonna start bubbling.
How did he get the Hulk though to just? Like, what happened there? Forcing to work out?
Steroids and stuff. When you get that steroid.
Well, I know the steroids and stuff, but did he force his wrist to break, or did he force him to just keep working out all the time?
They said he was repeatedly just doing the bench press, but I think he also had. They said that guy had fell off the map, so I assume he just took him in and was just forcing him to do all that shit. So it had been like a gradual amount of time because I think it was a smell that they ended up finding in the body. I think that I think the spider one was the easiest to recognize because it looked like the comic book cover.
Right.
You just had a kid dangling from his wrist. A 16-year-old that chopped up a 6-year-old, so no sympathy lost there.
Didn't feel bad? Yeah, no.
No.
It's funny though, they're like, well, they can't do Spider-Man because it's based off of
radiation, yeah.
He made the Human Torch.
don't think he can figure it out.
Right.
Even if it wasn't like comic book accurate completely to the T.
I think the Iron Man one might have been rougher because they took out his heart and kept him alive for several days
Right?
on an artificial machine. I wonder if he was conscious. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're about the 40-minute mark, so I don't think I have. Let's see. Oh, anybody notice that the delivery man looked a lot like Stanley?
Yeah.
Oh,
figured
yeah.
that's
I
what
was
it
like,
supposed
is
to
this
be.
fake Stanley?
Even Katie walked in and was like, we just trying to act like this is Stanley right now? I'm like, that's the Spanish Stanley. Get off.
I forgot about that. But yeah, I was like, this is too much screen time for Stanley. Stanley would be in and out.
Well, he's dead
No,
too, so.
Well,
Stanley would have put on a show in front of the
He
camera.
would have.
He liked
He would
the-
have been into it.
But you know what? I appreciate that also
would've been
because it's like
me
it's their
almost
way
that.
of. it was like their way of an homage to him. Like I get it. If you're gonna make a comic book movie, how do you not?
yeah. How do you not put a fake Stanley doppelganger who is taller, I think?
If they would have told Bob Kane to fuck off, they would have sold me.
I appreciate the fact that we talked about all those comics, but you never saw one because you know Marvel would have been down their motherfucking throats.
Yeah, that's true.
You saw clippings, but you never saw the whole thing, and there's a reason for that. They don't have
Did
the
we-
money.
Did we see the Spider-Man one? I thought. Why do I have the vision in my head of the cover of it? Maybe I just
Maybe
I
you
just
just know the
recognized
cover.
the cover of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty
maybe.
sure
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Because I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah.
He just had Uncanny and
Yeah,
Detective
like,
30.
small
He has
clippings,
things
bits
written
of it.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And I like that the guys were like he took a scientist and filled him full of steroids. He took a weapons maker and turned him into Iron Man. I like that they, except for Peter Parker,
Towards the end, you just gotta,
the 6-year-old murder. I didn't really scream Spider-Man. Maybe it was just the age that
Yeah, just a
considered
kid.
that's all
Spider-Man.
he had. He had going for him.
So were the murders based on? I guess there was no rhyme and reason to them. Was it just who I could find that I
Yeah.
could make into one?
Definitely.
All right, that's fair.
And then, so let's just, if we're gonna wrap it up, let's talk about the end because I feel like the end needs to be addressed altogether.
Yes.
So at the end, he finds out that there's a mansion, or underneath this mansion that now no longer has an owner. By the way.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the villain killing himself death.
Oh, yeah,
Ending.
okay. We can start about that part. Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
I think it's funny he just bumped the rail out and then jumped
He
off
was
like,
Well, and he was like showboating about it to Cosme. He was like, "Look at this! I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna beg him and like, oh no, please don't hurt me." And then I'm just
I
gonna
honestly enjoyed that scene. I mean, that whole, because it was just like, this is just bonkers at this point.
And then what was the injections he was doing in his face?
pain. So at first I thought he was Botoxing to deform his face, but then realized it probably wouldn't act fast enough. And then the man dipped his face in acid. So he was putting like Novocaine, presumably some like anesthetic, local anesthetic, to
That makes sense.
help with the fact that he dipped his whole face in acid.
I mean, my boy lost a nose, so I'm going to say that he didn't put enough.
He kind of looked like a goblin from some show, like Thundercats or something, or
He
maybe
looks
just
like
Green
Skeletor?
Goblin, maybe like an old version of Green Goblin.
Hey, real talk real quick. Who wants to watch Thundercats with me? It's on Hulu.
I don't. The show?
There's 2 versions.
Like the cartoon, like the old school one, or is it?
Uh-huh. There's the old school one and there's the newer one.
Do you want me to
But
come
we'll-
over and bring cereal? Like,
I mean, we can just watch it as a
oh,
team.
That's boring.
All right.
Oh
good
yeah,
thought.
Green Goblin. He kind of looked like Green Goblin a little bit.
He looked like fucking Wade Wilson with less
He
features.
looked like Skeletor. No, I think we were onto something with the early cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a rough look, but
You gotta
brilliance
respect the
of this
hustle.
guy, the brilliance of this guy to be like, the loop can't end. It can't make sense to him. He just has to know evil's out there. So I'm gonna fuck up my face to make sure that this guy knows that I'm just a random nobody. Didn't even change his voice though. I thought maybe we were gonna catch something there.
Yeah, But it also, that part also doesn't make a whole lot of sense because then that guy knows, he's like, well, that's the person that killed my parents, obviously, because he's masterminding all this nonsense. So he's gone. He's good.
Well, it worked because Vertex exists now.
I like that he was like, put down the gun or I'll kill him. And then he put the gun down and then they killed Cosme anyway. I'm gonna nip this in the bud real quick. I'm not gonna have to deal with that. He's not gonna tell you nothing. He's not gonna have time to say my name.
I appreciate that
laughing at
Cosme
just-
was like, let me relive this fantasy of being able to tell my son goodbye.
That was weird. I was like, all right then.
So he then basically kind of assaults or beats the shit out of Vertex.
Wins
Val.
the fight.
Wins the fight, and then looks at him and looks down and is like, all right, I gotta go, and then like breaks the pipe and jumps out, and it just looks like he's like hopping into like a pool,
Mhm.
and then he melts away.
I thought he was just hopping in the pool and then like done. And then, because I didn't even see him grab on.
Oh, that's right. He
anything.
grabs on, and I think he's like, but here, I said this to Kate. This fucking blew my mind. So he's like, please help me. And the guy's like, he goes, you're going to help me, right? You're a cop or something. And he's like, I don't see any cop around. I'm a hero. And then so then Dr. Navarro smiles and drops because he's like, this is what I wanted. But here's my thing. Any New Age comic book that he would have probably learned from, because let's be honest, he's not real in depth of a character. Those superheroes don't kill people. Like,
Right.
They would have saved him.
But this man's killed, in his mind, his mentor and his two parents. And he didn't say there's no
Bale
cop here,
didn't
there's a
kill anybody.
hero. He said there's no cop here, there's whatever his character's name was.
I'm only Vertex or something. Yeah.
yeah. So
And Jorge
Vertex-
gave him a bunch of comics.
Vertex be taking people out.
I'm just saying, like,
Vertex is just one of those. Europe's different, man.
Christian Bale didn't kill people.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. Not on
Not
screen.
saving someone is killing someone. He okay, and then in that mindset, he did him just like he did Ra's al Ghul.
I guess
You
that's
put
fair.
yourself in this situation, eat a dick.
I
Yeah,
guess
it's
that's
not like
fair.
he stepped on his
But I
fingers
feel
or
like-
anything. That guy just let go.
He took the crowbar and pushed him down.
I'm just saying, like, it's not very fucking hero-esque to just drop. Be like, I'm not gonna save you. I'm
Hey man,
Vertex.
the Batman trilogy started that way, so it's in the guidelines apparently.
Shit. Fine. But so then miraculously, there's a bat cave basically underneath the mansion
With tons of money.
with a pallet of money.
The villain left that for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
We didn't question why that was down there.
we just took it.
We're good with it. And then they're like, now Vertex is just sitting on the top of a gargoyle.
Yeah. Now he's Batman.
Let's say this happened to us and we found the money. I would assume, oh, he was gonna take all this money and these gadgets and do bad things. I'm gonna take it and do good things. I guess.
Sure.
Because he's fully
Whose
accepted
house
the hero
was this
persona.
supposed to be?
Victor Vids.
Yeah, the
Okay.
guy that
guy's
he-
persona he took.
And the government didn't like
Right.
come and seize the house?
The police
Nah, man.
supposedly went through it a couple times. But we don't know who it belongs to. But guess what? They got a pallet of money, so I'll bet they bought it.
I just buy it now. Maybe the deed was down there.
You can get it at a police auction for super cheap. But
They got inside info on that.
no, like, and then like it ends with Jorge being like, I could tell you that's where it ended, but then like goes on the spiel about how I once was asked what I would say if I met a superhero, and now I have the chance, and I say put that mask on and go whatever.
Yeah, we need you or
Yeah.
something like that.
And here's the thing: Val is not a hero in any capacity. This man is not built to be a hero. We forced it.
Oh. He could have just been a regular cop and been doing the same thing.
What
He's
makes
not
him not
super.
a hero?
He
Right.
Okay, so here's the thing. He can't be a superhero or a vigilante unless you want to say that he's kick-ass. Because, okay, I'm on board. But kick-ass doesn't have any feelings. Like, he doesn't get hurt. Like when he's getting
Right.
stabbed and shit, like that's his thing. He doesn't get hurt. Vertex has zero fucking training. He has zero combat ability. Has no fucking
He's got
gadgets.
police training.
Did we watch him get his fucking ass whooped by a coroner?
Yeah, but that man was supernatural.
And then who purposely jumped off?
That coroner
purposely-
literally, that coroner was a dweeby looking son of a bitch.
That
they
corner was
purposely-
built different.
That man got his ass fucking whooped. Did you see him at the ambulance and how he looked? That man was tore to bits. What's up?
He uses a gun.
Yeah, okay, there you go. He's Thomas Wayne, but like
He-
not as bulky and not fucking good at fighting at all.
Yeah, but I mean, do you need to when you shoot people?
Yes, you still need to be. Apparently, because he had a gun at one point.
He gave it up because he thought he was going to get his
He
friend
could have
back.
took the
and then he got
shot.
shot.
He could have took the shot.
He should have took the shot.
But no, there's no like he doesn't have gadgets. The only thing that they had in that cave at the time was the database and surveillance system.
That
So he doesn't
computer
have
and
like
the money,
he doesn't
yeah.
have a Fox. He doesn't have a Q. He doesn't have someone making him shit. He has, like I said, no combat ability. Very.
He doesn't
little
have a fancy
detective
car
skills.
either, because that was the other guy's.
That's true. He doesn't
You
have
have to give
fancy
it
car.
back.
He doesn't have very many detective skills, very apparently. Like, he never once looked into his own family's death. You would have done something. I'm just saying, like, there's no part of him that makes him a hero, like in a comic book aspect. So for us to be like, yeah, that's the man that Madrid's going to stand behind. I'm sorry, Madrid. I'm sorry. Go find
He's like-
somebody else.
He's like the Punisher.
No, because the Punisher was combat ready and was a hell of a shot. If Val was a good shot, he would have taken the shot.
I don't think he ever used the gun except for on the dead body.
Yeah, he shot the dead body real good.
Hey, all the bullets connected, man.
He shot the dead body, which then is what released the gas that made him
Hallucinogenic.
fucking hallucinate.
Hey, that's because he went against a guy that was different. But
Again.
what I'm saying is, the only evidence we have of his shooting ability, they all connected.
There's a
That's all I'm saying.
and no capacity. You know what? Norma's more built to fucking be the superhero.
Although he didn't even check who he was shooting first. He just started
Right.
shooting.
When you're in the building by yourself investigating murders, you don't ask, "Hey, who's that over there?"
You do.
But do you?
You do.
What if I was just a little kid playing hide and go seek?
I like you. Wait. I like that he tried to call Norma out. Like, hey, I think you shot. And she's like, no, don't worry about it. Like, that didn't happen. Why would you not have been like, yeah, I did. I tried to fucking save your life, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't understand why she didn't admit that she shot her. Because even in real life, her firearm was discharged. Like, she shot. She
I
has to
assume because
report
they weren't
that.
supposed. I assume because they weren't supposed to be there, like at all.
She wouldn't have gotten in trouble for that. He would have. Because he's shitty at his job.
Yeah,
Just like
but
he'd
both
be
of them
shitty at a
use their
superhero.
weapons, and they have to report those. And also, they have less bullets than they started with.
Madrid deserves better than Vertex.
Well, I mean, we can argue that whole precinct is not great
Fair.
because we brought in a comic book store owner to help with the murder.
We couldn't
Not
just do our
like-
own research on comic books.
Right. Not like a gray superhero in Google and looked it up.
Fair.
It was good though.
It was an okay movie.
He's the hero that we've been looking for all this time.
He's not.
I'd watch the
Stupid.
sequel. He's
I
a
swear to God.
superhero. He's a superhero.
I'll hunt them down and stop.
Anti-hero at best. Or at worst, I should
He
say.
honestly might be a villain.
Nah, man. Villains don't perch on gargoyles.
They do.
You stupid.
Remember Man-Bat? He's stupid. Remember Man-Bat? He
Man, he
perched.
just jump out at you.
But yeah, no, I mean, there was some really good parts of this movie, and then there were parts that just made me go, "Why am I watching this?"
Well, now he has time to practice. Now he's time to hone his skills.
While he's also still being a detective, or did he just stop that? He didn't care.
I mean, I found a fat stack of cash. I'd quit my job too.
Jorge doesn't get any of that. He just lost his
Oh,
dad
man,
thanks
fuck
to you
Jorge,
being a
man.
shitty fucking hero.
I let him stay at my house.
You were such a shitty hero that he lost his dad. Here's
Hey.
the thing. So like when things were all happening, right? I always, my mind's constantly racing while I'm watching movies. And I'm like, okay, what stupid plot twist is going to happen? And I really thought that he was going to inject him with whatever he put in lemonade. And that was because Cosme was so stubborn and wouldn't take chemo. I thought he was going to inject the radiation in him and it was somehow going to cure the fucking cancer. I was like, what an amazing twist that would be.
I feel like he followed the terrorist commands thinking he was going to get the hostage. That's the right move.
You never negotiate with terrorists, bro.
Bro, they negotiate with terrorists all the time. That's
You're
that
not
Trump
supposed
talk.
to. You're not supposed to.
For a life, man.
In negotiation, you don't you bargain like that.
You're not thinking Ethan Hunt.
You take the shot. You take the shot. 9 out of 10 times you take that shot. If you don't, guess what? Batman or Man-Bat will fucking come out behind that mask. And I liked when they peeled the mask off and like little bits of his melted skin are just coming with it.
And he was like, haha, you thought I was going to be somebody you knew. But I'm not. I planned ahead.
I melted my face off so you wouldn't know my identity.
The dude
Because I
was
knew you were getting close enough to take my mask off.
The dude was a fucking G. Like, you know what? I might dress up as Dr. Navarro next time I go out to a comic convention.
I enjoyed when he was explaining his name. He's like, why Professor Navarro or something? And he's
Well,
like,
my
well,
name's
Navarro's my
Navarro.
name, and Professor's my occupation.
It was the best.
Like,
Oh,
what a simple
shit.
answer.
Nah, man, I think he's going to be a great hero for Madrid.
I feel
Also-
bad for the city of Madrid.
Can you name any other heroes for Madrid? Let them have one.
I think it
I
was a
feel
little.
like we could give them a better one.
I feel like it was a little unnecessary. Like Madrid just needs some cops.
Can we donate, like, I don't know, give him fucking Ant-Man?
Cops can't do the job, Stephanie. That's the point.
I guess not. They have to dress up in costumes first.
What's ant in Spanish? Not like somebody's aunt, but an ant.
Dia.
I'm waiting for Oracle to type it out. I can hear her.
I am. It's like 10 extra letters. And
That's even better.
hormiga.
Nope. I'm not going to say that one. I won't be able to say it right. I did really hate when he gave him the costume. He's like, do you like the costume? He's like, yeah, like this triangle thing. He's like, the triangle is us. And we're the different things. And you're the vertex of the triangle. He's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm Triangle Man then. And he's like, no, you're Vertex.
But also,
I've-
how is he a side and the vertex at the same time?
I assume that was a conversation that was, like, obviously it was written in the script, but it was like a making it up
An
as he went
actual-
along. I like
Yeah.
to think that he didn't think that through as the character.
It was ad-libbed.
Yeah,
All right. Well, hopefully you
I
guys
don't
enjoyed
know.
this
I think he's a
episode.
great hero. I think he's right up there with the best of
Say it. So with a who?
them. Batman.
I think he's had his mind
Shut your
messed with
fucking
by
mouth.
a mastermind,
I
and he's
don't
just
know
been brainwashed to think he's a superhero.
He's a little bit better because he uses guns, or he at least admits it. Batman's a punk ass who doesn't admit that he uses guns, even though I've seen it happen several times.
Look,
This guy's like, yeah,
why did we have to show him running up the stairs in such awkward fashion?
that's what cops do, man.
Why didn't he ever use his taser? Oh, wait,
did.
He did.
got
Oh, he
taser
did.
used against him.
The only chance he kind of got was when he started tasing the guy, but he got overzealous. He got real proud of himself. He's like, yeah, look at me doing good, Dad. And then got
It's
fucking
Bat-
electrocuted himself.
It's Batman Year One, man.
It's Robert Pattinson year 2, so like this is what it evolves into.
Yeah, it's this, and then Robert Pattinson's Batman.
And
Where
then
he's just-
Christian Bale.
A little bit more bulky and knows a little
I
bit more
I
fighting skills.
I know how much you like Batman, so I know this is all a lie, but I'm really upset that you said that.
I mean, he's Year One Batman. Year One Batman got his ass kicked also. To be fair, he's been a hero for like 20 minutes.
He's
You
been a
gotta start
cop for a
somewhere.
while. He should have some kind of training.
He threw punches. The guy's wearing a metal mask. That's not fair. That's like
Punch
fighting
the
somebody
guy?
with a football helmet.
And he's been planning this for a long time.
Stephanie, are you jumping on the train of Vertex? Damn it.
The professor's over there doing push-ups, getting ready.
You're on the wrong side of history right now. I'm just letting you know that.
Vertex did not know this fight was coming. He thought he was just a detective. Solved murder crime.
And to be fair, when he was getting the poop kicked out of him, he was on drugs. He was hallucinating.
Stephanie knows her mom watches the show, so she's not going to say shit.
I'm just trying not to cuss for the podcast.
Oh, is that what you're doing, Stephanie? Have we never sworn on this podcast? Is that the goal?
Michael goes well over the one F word rule.
I think 30 seconds into Echo, I said fuck. Anyways, sorry. This is an adult podcast now. It happened.
So let us know what you think about the movie if you watch it, or if it sounds interesting to you.
What is the name of it in English? Because I think we only said the Spanish name of it.
Unknown Origins.
All right. Unknown Origins. It's on Netflix, guys. Go watch it now.
I said it in both languages.
Oh, my bad. Go watch it on Netflix.
It's probably also in the title of this.
Either I hope, God willing, either in subtitles or dubbed, not both. It's very distracting.
Yeah,
It really bothers me when those don't match.
If
You
you're
just find your options and you can dub it in whatever language you want.
if you're not if you're a fan of subtitles or you're okay with it, I suggest that method. Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there were many times that the fucking dub actors took me out of this movie.
Sometimes
Usually-
it's hard when just seeing the mouth not match. Sometimes will distract me off of what I'm supposed to be paying attention to.
Sometimes
though I
I'm
know
trying to
it's
pay
happening.
attention to it to talk about it later. I reading it, and it's just then I'm not paying attention. I'm just reading it.
Mhm.
Yeah, let us know what you guys thought. If you guys have any suggestions of other movies you'd like us to shit on, let us know.
I love this movie.
That's the problem. Like, I did like parts of it, and I feel like I spent this whole time just dumping on
I'll make
it,
it
and
for
I'm
you for
so
Christmas.
sorry.
If it comes
I
out on
feel
DVD,
kind of bad.
you're getting it.
I would like you to actually buy me a Vertex costume. Thank you.
No, you get Jorge's costume.
Was he Dr. Fate? Was that his costume? Because it kind of looked like Dr. Fate.
No idea. It was like red and blue. No idea who he was supposed
Oh,
to
it
be.
looked like I just saw like the blue and then the yellow sun,
Mm.
and that's kind of what made me think of Dr. Fate. I liked that he was like, "We're ruling out all the magic ones." Well, that's fair.
And all the gods.
Yeah.
Fair point. Good call,
Um,
kid. But Green Lantern gets a pass.
He's like, if you're really creative. Yeah, let us know if there's any other movies you guys would like us to watch that you'd like us to watch. We'll talk about it.
See if you can match Michael's standards.
What would you rate it out of 10?
A 6.
I got 6.
That's what I was thinking too. 6.
You know what? Like even like the special effects were actually really good too. Like the makeup.
The bodies, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was good. The only time that there was any bad kind of anything was when he jumped off the fucking into the vat. That looked real fake, but I get it.
Oh, it was funny. That part made me laugh.
The mask
Just like,
goo got me. There was sometimes where his face didn't look like it looked like it was just digitally put in there. When he put the acid on it,
Wow. Yeah,
sometimes it looked like it was just bobbing around from him.
that's fair.
Not bad enough to be 5.
Yeah,
It's more than
it was
like
better than
It was
middle.
just above average.
It was.
it's a worth watching.
I'm gonna have to watch 7 soon, so I will let you know if I think it's anything like that later.
Oh yeah. Also, the fact that you've never seen that movie, just
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're addressing that. Don't worry. Let us know in our social media. We have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, we have a Twitter. They are all Friendship Supreme, except Twitter has no eyes in the word friendship because all eyes are on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and search Friendship Supreme. You will find all of our uploads, including a random episode where I play a Super Mario Maker stage and want to murder everyone.
Do you want to murder them in fashion in which they would be resembling origins of superheroes?
Yeah, I want to start with.
Too bad Vertex will stop you
Robin.
because he's the best villain. I mean, hero.
Oh man, he is. but luckily he doesn't have a passport. Don't forget our
Bloody
Patreon,
COVID.
which is
Suck it.
patreon.com/Friendship Supreme. Our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Friendship Supreme. Shameless plugs galore. Google Friendship Supreme, and you will find everything that we have to offer to you today and future days.
I've been Michael.
This is Cleve.
This is Stephanie.
Good thing I'm more than a man, because I'm a woman. Can we have an episode 2 or a movie 2, a sequel? That's the word we use for those. Can we have a sequel in which he's just fighting with American immigration to try to get a visa so he can come here?